Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Something a little bit different today. I was recently watching the latest live stream from Vince Venturella, which was his Warhammer Weekly show. And this week they were talking about painting an army and the steps it takes to do that and some pointers and stuff like that. And I thought that was a good opportunity to share a couple tools that we have made for our club that I think really help with painting an army. So the first one that we have here is called Base Coat. And what this allows you to do is lay out your armies as you're painting them or when you're going to begin painting them. And then you get a visual representation of them that you can then color in basically as you finish models. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of how it works. So I'm just going to name this High Elves for YouTube. And so you can save to your local machine here. You can also just load it from your browser's cache. If you accidentally get rid of some stuff, you can just load it back real quick. And then you can also load from a file. So once you save a file, you can load from a file. You can set your favorite colors here if you want. And then all you have to do to make your army is to come down here. So I'm going to start with my Archmage. And he is a single model. And he's on a big base. He's on a 60 by 100 meter rectangle. No, 60 by 100 meter, wow. 60 by 100 millimeter rectangle. And I'm going to go ahead and add his group. So there he is right here. I'll do that. So then he is already painted in my army. So I'll go ahead and right click him. And I'll set a color. So, you know, the High Elves are kind of known for their blues, I guess. So let's pick up here. That's a nice blue color. Why not? So I'm going to add that to the custom colors. But it will also, once I apply it, I can always just go and grab it from here. Next is my Noble, who runs around with some Phoenix Guard, but he will be off by himself right now. So I'll go ahead and add that group. And he's also painted, but I'm going to hold off on coloring him in so that I can show you another one of the features down here. So the first unit is going to be my Illyrian Reavers. So I'll put them in here. They are a unit of 10. And they are on 30 by 60 millimeter rectangles. And I'll go ahead and add that group. And I'll plop them down here. So now, 5 of these guys are painted, and then my Noble is also painted. So I'm going to come down here to the batch color mode. I'm going to turn that on. And then I'm going to go in and select all these that are painted. Right-click again. And then I'll grab my custom color and apply it to all of them because they're painted. And so then I would just go through and add the rest of my units. So I have some Elven Archers. I have 12 of them. They're on 25 mil squares. None of them are painted, so I'll just throw them in how they are. Zoom out a little bit here to have a little more room. And let's see, who else do we have? Elven Spearmen. I have 18 of them. None of them are painted either. If I can click correctly. None of them are painted either, so we'll leave them unpainted. Then I have 10 Dragon Princes. Bring these down. They are on 30 by 60 millimeter rectangles. Go ahead and add that group up here. Then I have 19 Phoenix Guard. And they pal around with the Noble, like I said. They're on 25 mil squares. Some of them are painted. So I will do batch mode is still on. Haven't turned it off. 10 of these guys are painted, so I'll just grab them, right click, grab my custom color here, and apply. And then my last unit is a unit of 9 Shadow Warriors. Get rid of that. They're on 25 squares. They are all painted, so I will just make them blue from the start here. And let's see, a little more zoomage here. I'll grab them, and that'll be fine. So there I have my army all set to go. Those are all the units in my army and what I have painted. So then you could do a number of different things. You could, as you know, say gray could be unbuilt for you. And then when you build them, you could come in and change them to whatever this color is. Add that to, deleted my blue, that's okay. Yeah, so built could be white now. And then you could come in, and now that he's built, you could come in again and change it to this sort of light blue color. And now he's primed. And so you could, you could do all sorts of different colors. You could have one for built, one for primed, one for based, all these different things. Personally, when I'm tracking my army, I just track what's done and what's not done. But to each their own. Then the final thing that you could do, so if you come down here, one of my favorite features of this is that you can turn the borders off. So you can just have you don't have that extra junk hanging around. And then you can hit screenshot. And that will save your, save this as an image that you can then, post in your favorite Discord or share with your friends or whatever. But that's about it for this tool. I think it's been incredibly helpful for me. I like to be able to visualize my army as it gets more and more painted. And, sometimes I'll have my army set out on my hobby table, but a lot of the time it's in a box and it's not really out and not easy to look at all at once. But with this, I can just pull this picture up and see, oh yeah, I have no spearmen painted. Let me pull out a couple spearmen and work on them. Or, wow, if I look at my army, I've got a good chunk painted. I should really, spend some more time finishing it up or whatever. So yeah, I will pull up the next tool and I'll be right back and we'll talk about that. All right, so we are back with our second tool, and this one is called Paint Schemer. And from the title, you might be able to tell what it is pretty quickly. But this is a way to keep track of your paint schemes and your colors that you've used. For me, I've always tried to write them down in notebooks or on sticky notes or on pieces of paper that I put with the army. And, that works to a greater or lesser extent. But having it all digital and having it able to be done for me, much easier. I can just save these and then pull them back up when I need them. It's especially helpful painting commissions. Sometimes I'll paint a commission for somebody, and then 2 months later they'll ask me to paint another unit to match that first unit. It's like, oh gosh, yeah, I can try to do that, and this tool will help to do that much easier than trying to remember where the random scrap of paper happens to be. So I'll just walk you through a little bit. First of all, we have this nice dark and light mode here. If you change it to light mode, you're a weirdo. So we're going to start with adding a paint group. So by default, it gives you 5 paint bottles, and that'll be just fine for our purposes right now. So let me name this. This will be the High Elves. And we'll start with the undercloaks, or undertunics, we'll say. So then, you just come down here, and the first color I used on these undertunics was Pilar Glacier. So I'll grab that, and it'll pop it right there for me. The second color I used on that was Azurman Blue. And then I did a second layer of Azurman Blue, if I can spell. Azerman Blue. I did a second layer of this to further deepen the highlights. And I don't need these other two, so I'll just go ahead and shrink this group down. So then I'll add another group. And this will be I'll do the light leather. So I started off with Agros Dunes. And then I went to Targor Rage Shade. And again, I don't need the rest of these, so I'll just bring them right down. Then I'll go ahead and add another group, and let's do the gold this time. So I started with Army Painter Greedy Gold. Then I used some Reichland Flush Shade. And then I layered that with Bright Gold, again from the Army Painter. And I don't need these other two, so I'll just get rid of them. So as you can see, it gives you the type of paint it is, and then the producer of said paint. Currently, the only lines that are in here are the Army Painter Fanatic line and Games Workshop's line, because that's what I use most often. I will be adding more lines in the future, though. If you want a line added specifically, I'm happy to do that. Just you can comment below and request a paint line. I'm probably going to do the main ones, though. Vallejo has a lot of paints and like 4 or 5 different lines, so I'm going to try to get to that eventually, but it's going to take me a while. Pro Acryl is definitely going to get added. Duncan's paint line is going to be added, 2 thin coats. There's another, the speed paint line is going to get added, and probably some others. I can't think of any more off the top of my head right now, but those will definitely be added sooner rather than later. So then once you get all your groups in here, you can click this button right here, download, and that will download a image here, and that image will have all of your groups nicely laid out for you. And then you could just pull this right back up, and 6 months later, you've been on a painting hiatus or whatever. How the heck did I paint these high elves? Zoom on in, and oh yeah, I used, for their undertunics, I used Pilar Glacier and then Azerman Blue and then a second layer of Azerman Blue. Oh, what about their light leather? Oh yeah, these, yeah. So, you get it. But yeah, I think this is a great tool. I really like being able to visualize the paint also, so I can see what color I'm looking for, even if I, instead of having to look for each name on the desk, I can, if I don't remember what color some color is, I can look and be like, all right, I'm looking for a deep blue. Got it. So on and so forth. For me personally, making YouTube videos, I'm also going to start using this export feature to put at the beginning of my videos to show all the paints that I've used in a video, and I think that will be really helpful. But yeah, hopefully these tools will be helpful to you. I will, of course, link them down in the description below. You're welcome to use them. The cloud save and load feature, you will not be able to access without a login, and logins currently are limited to our club members only, because if the general public is just cloud saving and loading, we're going to run out of bandwidth on our site really fast. So that's limited to club members only currently. But you can local save, you can cache save, and you can download images. So you should be able to get absolutely 99.9% of the functionality out of these two tools. No problem. Thank you everybody for watching. Put down in the comments if you want features added to these or paint lines to the second one specifically or anything like that. And I'll see you on the next one.